Hey everyone, welcome to This Is My Story. I'm your host, Karen Poitras, and we're going to hear about the weird reality of RAD. If you're one of our loyal listeners, welcome back. If you're new to our podcast, be sure to check out our welcome info episodes, which are episodes 1 and 2, so you can get properly introduced to what reactive attachment disorder is and the type of therapeutic parenting techniques that we talk about here. So either way, welcome here, and it's great to have you join us today. This podcast is interviews with kids and parents and professionals who all share their stories on a wide range of experiences, anything from their craziest moments in parenting or healing to the stories of their journey to healing and health. Today is Tuesday, March 31st. You're listening to episode number 5. Today's title, Don't Go Through Broken Windows. Our guest today is Marie. She is 13. She's joining us from California. And she's a kid who has been working really hard on healing in the last year and made great progress. And she's sharing with us today what it's been like working on healing, how she's felt different from other kids, what her parents have done to help her out, and some of the really great goals she has to accomplish when she's healthy. So let's get into this. All right, hello and welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being with us today. Marie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Miss Karen. My name is Marina. I am 13 and I live in California.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go through a couple questions here. The first one I really want to ask you is, what are some of the big things that have stood out to you on your healing journey?
It's hard to control and it's hard to explain to others.
So it's hard to explain to, who is it the hardest to explain to, do you think?
Others who haven't experienced what we have been through.
Like kids or adults, or both?
Both.
Yeah. Do you get asked a lot about that?
Sometimes if they see us.
What if people asked you?
They ask us if it's hard and why we're doing it.
And is that about behaviors or about the kind of parenting your family uses?
Both.
Yeah. And it's kind of, what makes it hard to answer that?
Well, just because I don't want to tell them.
Yeah. And do you, like other kids your age or kids that you're with at school or other places, do they kind of make fun of that kind of stuff?
Sometimes yes, other times no.
Yeah. And do your parents use therapeutic parenting when you're in other settings like that still?
Yes, Miss Sarah. Yes, Miss Karen.
And that part's probably pretty hard to explain to people why you're doing it, right?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah. Okay, then the other question I want to ask you here is, do you have a special part of your story that you would want other kids or families to know?
Yes, Miss Karen. Don't go through broken windows. It hurts.
Now you have to tell us the broken window story.
I was having a rage, and I decided to climb in through a broken window. So my dad tried to keep me from doing that, and I grabbed the window with my left hand and fell.
Yeah, do you remember what you were so mad about, or was it something you don't even remember?
I have heard stories of it. It's I was going to the library to write a paper.
Does that seem, how do you feel about that now, thinking about like going through a window?
Well, I wouldn't have liked to do that because I would have still had all the strength I had in my left hand. And I think it was very ridiculous for me to do that for just a small paper.
Yeah, it probably didn't feel like a small thing at the time, though, did it?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah. And then you have another part here. Tell me about that.
Yes. I think the older you get, it helps a little more with the rage because you can control it a little bit more. But you still need to work on it.
Yeah. So do you think, like, I was with you a year ago and you look so much better than you did then. You look calm, you look happy. I know you went on that big shopping trip. So do you think it's just that you got older, or do you think it's that you've put so much work into healing yourself and getting your heart and brain healthy?
I think it's both.
Yeah. And this is just, I'm going to throw this in. On a scale from 1 to 10, how hard do you think you've been working in the last year?
I think about a 7.
Yeah. And is that like this last year, do you think that's the year you've made the most progress?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah. I bet that makes you feel a whole lot better, doesn't it?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions here. And like I said, they don't have to be long answers, so you can make them as long or as short as you want to. So the first one is, who's made the biggest positive impact on your life?
My mom and dad.
And what have they done that's made such a huge impact?
They brought me to Healing Hearts, which I felt like helped me a lot. And yeah, they just loved me through all what I've done.
Yeah, awesome. How old were you when your parents started therapeutic parenting? Do you remember?
That depends on which one. For Healing Hearts, it would have been 8.
Okay, is that the first camp you went to then?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Okay, so you were old enough to remember. What was it like when your parents started making you do jumping jacks and strong sitting and restitutions and go to therapy and all that stuff?
I felt weird and embarrassed and mad.
So it probably wasn't the easiest thing for you to go through.
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah, and thinking back on that now, what was the worst and best parts of your parents deciding to use therapeutic parenting with you?
The best part was it helped me, and the worst part was it was just weird and embarrassing and everything.
Yeah. How long do you think it took before you realized that it was helping you?
Until this last year.
And you're 13, so a couple of years, right?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Okay, so the next question, what's the biggest challenge you've had on your healing journey? What's something that happened or something you were feeling that looked like the biggest thing for you to get over?
I think that I don't really know.
Yeah, probably a lot of things seemed like a big challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What's been the greatest time when you felt different? So is there a time when you realized you didn't feel so mad or sad or scared inside?
Yes, this last year.
And what was it, do you think, that made you realize that or made you feel so different?
I think going to Healing Hearts and having therapy.
Yeah, was there a specific thing at the camp that made you feel like that?
Weeding.
Weeding?
I had to weed a bunch of plants.
Awesome. You can come weed my garden anytime. That sounds good. Okay, so then I want to talk a little bit about school, because a lot of the families I work with, their kids go to school, and I've talked to some of the kids, and they say going to school is just very different from being at home, and sometimes it's hard to make the change. So what's it like? And I know you're partly homeschooled or partly going to school and partly working from home, right?
Yes, Miss Karen.
So what's it like going to school where you're around other kids and you come from a family that uses therapeutic parenting and most of those other kids don't?
It feels very weird, and I don't know a lot of the stuff they're talking about because I've had so much boundaries.
Yeah. Do you ever see a kid at school and you're like, his parents should make him strong sit sometime?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah. Okay, what is something your parents do that you feel helps you the most?
They loved me and got me help.
What kind of help did they get that you think personally was the biggest help for you?
Going to Healing Hearts.
Yeah. And how many camps have you been to?
3.
3. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, what are some ups and downs of doing therapy? Because you go to an attachment and trauma therapist, is that right?
Yes, Miss Karen.
So, what are some things you like about it, and what are some things you really don't like about it?
The things I don't really like about it is you have to talk about hard stuff. And the things that I think helped me the most, or the ups, were they helped me feel better.
And let's go back to last year when you were still stuck and feeling like you weren't doing so great. If you had the choice, would you have quit doing therapy?
Yes, Miss Karen.
And then what about this year?
I feel like sometimes I think I'd quit therapy, but then others I think that I'd keep doing it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about goals. And I heard you had a goal to be a ninja at a Healing Hearts camp. Is that right?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Yeah, for people who don't know what a ninja is, do you want to tell a little bit about that and what you'd want to do if you were a ninja?
So a ninja is basically a helper at the camp, and I'd probably want to help take pictures and help set up, and yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to have you there sometime. It'd be so much fun. Um, and then ninjas are also kids who have, most of them had RAD and worked really hard and got healthy and were there. And they get to be the kids that the parents can look at and say, this, my kid can be like this. And how would that make you feel to be one of those kids where you're what we call like the success stories? How do you think that'd make you feel?
Proud.
Yeah. How do you think it'd make your parents feel?
Proud.
Yeah, I think so. So when are you planning on being a ninja? Which camp are you going to go to?
Whichever camp they feel like I can go to.
You hoping to do that this summer?
Yes, Miss Karen.
Awesome. Okay, so one more question. What other goals do you have that you're working toward?
To have all my things back in my room and to catch up to my grade level and be able to ride a horse on my own.
Oh, wow. That's a good goal. All right, and then what are your plans for when you are strong and healthy? And I think you're pretty close to being there. Do you have big plans for when that is?
I don't think so, Miss Karen.
You're going to have a big party?
I want to, Miss Karen.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all the questions I had for you. Thank you so much for joining us on here today and letting families hear what you had to say about therapeutic parenting and healing. And I'm really excited to see you at camp this summer. All right, that brings us to the end of our interview with Marie. We really enjoyed having her here and listening to her story. Just a couple of things. We talk about strong sitting several times. That is part of our brain-based behavior intervention program. And it's a mindfulness pose that helps our kids with mindfulness, deep breathing, relaxation, and gives them time to calm down and think when they've been in a stressful situation. The Healing Hearts camps she talks about are run by Nancy Thomas. You can look at her website for more information on those, www.attachment.org. Marie's parents did an interview with us also, if you want to listen to episodes 3 and 4 to hear their side of the healing journey that their family has been through. So thank you for joining us today on this episode. It's been great having you with us. Check out the description on our channel for more information about our podcast and information about the RADish Ranch. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can get episodes straight to your inbox every Tuesday morning. And also check us out on social media. So we have a Facebook page and an Instagram account where we post mostly on a daily basis. Lots of great information for parents or respite providers who are working or living with kids with RAD. The songs on our podcast are The Way Things Go and Come Down, both written and recorded by French Press, and we've used them here with their permission. This Is My Story is brought to you by the RADish Ranch. I'm your host, Karen Poitras, and I will see you next week. Stay awesome.